Hi, thanks for joining us for the Family Plot, Gardening in the Mid-South. I'm Chris Cooper. Herbs can add flavor to your food. And if you have an herb garden, you can pick them fresh whenever you want. That's just ahead on the Family Plot, Gardening in the Mid-South.
Production funding for the Family Plot, Gardening in the Mid-South is provided by the WKNO Production Fund, the WKNO Endowment Fund, and by viewers like you. Thank you.
Welcome to the Family Plot. I'm Chris Cooper. Joining me today is Mr. John Peterson. Mr. Peterson is a Memphis area master gardener. Mr. John, it's good to have you here.
It's great to be here.
Welcome to the
Thank
Family
you.
Plot Garden.
Thank you.
I know you like herbs.
Oh yes.
Look at all the herbs we have for you.
Wonderful array of herbs. We're going to have some good meals from this.
Oh, that's some good meals. Okay. All right, so I know we're going to be planting herbs. So what are some of the things we need to know? The basics of planting herbs.
Okay. Herbs like sun,
Okay.
and this will be sunny.
Yes, it will be. Yes, it will.
And they like good drainage,
Okay.
by and large. And there are some that are even, fussy beyond that. Lavender and sage come to mind. But we keep trying, and with this raised bed, that should work
Okay.
well. We have a lot of different leaf shapes, a lot of different textures, some different leaf colors. You don't grow herbs for their flowers, by and large,
Okay.
but for their foliage. And so this is a wonderful bunch of choices of herbs. So let me start. I'm going to plant this dill.
Okay.
And one of the reasons I'm doing this one is because I have learned by unfortunate experience that if you start on the outside, then when you go to plant the things on the inside, you're stomping over what you've just planted.
Ah,
And
that
it's
makes
just
sense.
not a
Okay.
good idea.
All right.
So I get, oh, this is nice and loose.
Do you like it?
I like it.
Now, any special planting techniques we need to know about when you're planting many of your herbs?
No, of course. I mean, the standard thing that whatever the soil level is in the pot
Okay.
is the soil level that you want to match it in the garden.
Okay.
And let's see, I don't.
Ah, look at the root
Yes.
system.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Yes. And or perhaps just a little bit high,
Okay.
which will help drainage. But there it is. Another thing to think about is that some of these plants will go through their life cycle earlier. The dill will probably be done by midsummer.
Okay.
And so then other plants will take their place. We have some oreganos here, which will keep on going and could stay green all winter.
Oh, that'd be good. That'd be good.
Yeah, because there are perennial herbs that die to the ground. There are perennial herbs that stay green.
Okay.
The thymes stay green. Rosemary stays green.
Right. Okay. And I noticed something else you did here, right?
Mhm.
When you put it in the ground. We probably need to say that as well, right?
Oh.
It's always good to make sure we
Thank you. Yes.
ID our plants.
Yes. The tag.
The tag.
And not only the tag, but put it so the person on the outside of the garden can read it. Don't reverse it.
I like that. All right.
I'm speaking from silly experience sometimes. One of the things that's nice about dill, I grew up thinking about dill, that there was dill seeds, right?
Okay.
And
So-
my mother did pickling and things like that, so I was familiar with that. Fresh dill is wonderful in a salad. It does not taste the same as the seeds. So, that's one of the advantages you have when you're growing these things in your garden.
How about that? So you remember a lot of these herbs as you were growing up. And,
Yeah.
oh, pretty cool.
Yeah, my mother grew 3. She grew mint, from which she made jelly, and she
Okay.
made sage, from which she made stuffing at Thanksgiving time, and chives. And I'm not sure what she did with that.
Okay.
She would not have thought of herself as an herb gardener, but,
Oh, how about
but
that?
she grew those.
And
She-
now you're growing all of those as well.
Yeah, right.
See that?
Absolutely.
See how that works?
Yeah.
That is good. So what do you want to move to next?
Well, let's finish here. Let's
You wanna finish here?
plant
Okay.
these chives.
All right.
These are standard chives or
Okay.
onion chives. There are also garlic chives,
Yeah.
which are can be a little invasive, but have a nice mild garlic flavor.
The root systems are real nice on that. Look at those white
yes.
fibrous roots.
Yes,
Real good.
beautiful.
Now, do we need to break that apart, or you can just plant it just like that?
These look tender,
Okay.
and so I'm going to just plant the whole thing.
Okay.
Later in the year, I might want to divide it, or next spring, these things will be bigger and they'll be stronger. Chives, of course, you can snip them off, put them in salads, put them in scrambled eggs, whatever. When they bloom a beautiful purple flower that breaks into little pieces, and you can sprinkle those on a salad or whatever, and it's really pretty. And you know, purple is just not the standard color of our food, so it's a nice thing.
That is good. And Mr. John, you're making me hungry already. Yeah, talking about these fresh herbs, right, and food. Want to move down this way?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's go after, well, no.
So who do we have?
This is
Here.
sage.
All right.
Okay,
I'll grab that for you.
thank you.
Okay.
Sage can be a little bit touchy here. I grow it in a pot at home. I think having this raised bed should really do it.
Okay.
Knock on wood.
Or stone, right?
Yeah, whatever we got. But there,
Hey.
that should be.
Okay.
We hope that's going to be happy there.
We'll find out. Yeah.
Next to it, we have pineapple sage.
Okay.
And this is one of the exceptions of herb flowers, because in fall, the pineapple sage will be covered with just brilliant red flowers.
Oh, nice.
And the insects go crazy for it.
Nice.
So I have a friend in the Herb Society who says you can, when you make a pineapple upside down cake, she lines the pan with these leaves.
Oh, how about that? I never heard that before.
And I haven't done it, but I don't think she would lie to me. Let's get this parsley
Okay.
in here. There are two principal varieties of parsley. There's actually a third that makes a big root that looks like a white carrot. But mostly we deal with curly and flat leaf parsley. We have both ready for this garden. This is curly leaf parsley. There are, what shall I say, parsley aficionados, maybe anyway, that insist on one or the other. And usually if they're going to insist on one, they insist on the flat leaf. I'm glad for whatever grows.
So whatever goes. I'm with you on that one.
A few years ago, I kept having a problem with parsley in my garden. It would just start to wilt. And of course, my impulse was to water it more.
Of course.
And what I was doing was drowning my plants. Because I discovered that parsley, its botanical name, Petroselinum, the petro means rock. And so, it really is a rock garden plant, believe it or not. So,
It's all in the scientific name, huh?
yeah,
How about that?
that helps.
I got it.
Okay.
Now we do have a lavender here.
Yes. Yes, and we don't know what kind this is, but it's lavender, and that's enough. The lavender names, nomenclature, are really confusing. There's what's called a Spanish lavender, which it does not have the classic lavender aroma and appearance, but some of those tend to grow a little more easily in the Mid-South.
Oh, that's good.
And they have
That's good.
cute flowers. I mean cute. They look like funny little purple bunny ears. This is the standard lavender flower.
So we need to look at these roots?
Yeah,
Are they fine,
sure.
you think?
Yeah, should
Will
we?
you tease them?
Shall we?
Yeah.
I've heard
We can. We can tickle
Yeah.
or tease the roots.
I've heard people say, "Oh, of course you do that," and I've heard people say, "We spent all this time and money and good soil growing
And
these
you're
great
gonna break
roots.
it apart."
Don't tear them up."
Yeah.
But if we just loosen them a little bit,
Just loosen a little bit.
encourage them, although with this light soil,
Right.
I don't think it needs a whole lot of encouragement.
And it's just been in the pot for a little bit, so.
Put that to bed.
All right. So you put that one to bed?
right?
Okay. So let's talk about this thyme here, right? There's a little history behind this, right?
Well, there's history behind that
Oh,
one.
it's this one. Okay.
Yeah, that's
All right.
so. Yeah, let's talk about
Let's talk
it.
about it. Yeah, let's do that.
This is German
on.
wintertime,
Okay.
and this is a plant that I brought, and I brought it from my garden, and I bought the original of this sometime in the 80s, maybe 83.
Yeah.
And if you remember what weather was like in the 80s, this or some avatar of it has been through -4 at least twice.
Okay.
It's been through 108
My goodness.
twice. It's a survivor. It has a really rich flavor. And I have heard it said that, you know, if you have a very small space, don't plant both thyme and oregano, just choose one. It would be easy to just do the thyme, particularly this one. There are so many different varieties of thyme. We have a lemon thyme and we have 2 English thyme plants. That flavor is similar to the German thyme.
Okay.
And there are thymes that grow closer to the ground. I'm not sure they do as well with our humidity, but there are lemon thymes, there's rose petal thyme. It's just,
Never heard of that. Okay.
yeah.
It's quite the history, though.
Oh, yes.
Surely it will survive in our bed, right?
Oh, listen,
Surely
it
will.
has survived this long in Memphis.
Sure.
All right.
All right. So that one's put to bed.
That one is put to bed. And let's do the English
Okay.
thyme.
Sure.
Since we're here.
Let's be here. That looks
You know,
good.
thyme was a traditional border plant in herb gardens because it never gets very tall. So I have French thyme at home, and that might get up about so. But one of the things I love about thyme, you know, the books tell you, you need to prune it gently but frequently. But what you do when you're doing that is you're cutting off the flowers. And if you cut off the flowers, you don't get to sit on your porch and look over at the thyme in midsummer when all of those pollinating insects are going over it, and it's vibrating, it looks like,
that?
because it's just a beautiful
Oh, that's
sight.
pretty cool. All right. All right.
There we go.
All right. You want to look at your basil?
Sure. We have 2 kinds of basil here. We have some Italian basil at the other end of the garden, and this is Thai basil, which has a little muskier flavor.
How tall are those going to get, you think?
A couple of feet. I
feet.
don't think they'll get taller. Might by a little.
Okay.
It is so easy to dig into this soil.
Oh, it is good. Let's walk over to this parsley.
Now this is the flat leaf parsley.
Okay.
It looks a little different, has a very, very similar
Yeah.
flavor. I always plant them both. I don't know that I prefer the flavor of one over the other. They're very similar.
Okay.
I like the one that grows the best. They're a biennial, and but we treat them as annuals because the second year they will stop putting energy into making leaves and they'll put energy into making seeds.
Okay.
So there'll be fewer leaves. It won't change the flavor. I mean, cilantro, which is a close relative, when it goes to seed, it starts to taste like model railroad oil smells. But you know, this doesn't. But it will. It'll stop making leaves. So I plant it every year. Sometimes I plant it again in the fall. And for that, usually you can't get the plants at nurseries. You can get it at kind of high-end grocery stores.
Interesting. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is.
But I always let at least one hot parsley plant go to seed because it's so beautiful when it flowers.
So not only do they taste good, they also look good, huh?
Yes.
Look good aesthetically. Got it?
And
Got it.
they are very nutritious. They are rich in vitamin A, vitamin C, and iron. So,
Good for you.
yes. But you know, this is doing a lot for me because we're about to move into an apartment. I'm leaving my garden.
Oh,
So, thank you for the
oh,
opportunity.
you're welcome. See? Right. Let's look at our basil.
Here's an Italian type basil, just says sweet basil.
Sweet basil.
Yeah. Make pesto from that.
Mm-hmm. I like pesto.
Oh yeah. And you know another thing, since basil is very sensitive to cold, you know, you can make pesto and freeze it, and then you have it all winter.
Sounds good to me.
Oh yeah.
I actually like the leaves of basil.
Yes.
Pretty unique shape.
Yes, and the color is beautiful. Most herbs really like the summer and the sun and all. Cilantro is one that is much happier in winter because it goes to seed when the heat comes on, and it doesn't taste good when it goes to seed. But it's very sensitive to heat. That's what makes it go to seed. So if you have limited space, you can plant basil and cilantro in more or less the same spot, because the cilantro will be there through the winter, the basil will be there through the summer.
Huh, about that.
Yeah.
Learning some good tips here. Got it. That is good. That is good. All right, Mr. John, we're gonna plant the rosemary.
All right.
Do you have any interesting stories about the rosemary?
I don't know that I have
about.
interesting stories, but there are many, many varieties. Some of them are not hardy here,
Okay.
but and when we have a winter like the one we just had, none of them are hardy here.
Right.
But the ones that I have had the best luck with are Salem
I heard of Salem.
and Arp, which the flavor of that is a little more camphory than I like, and then it's a woman's name. She's the one who actually developed Arp. Hill Hardy, Madeline Hill. And those three have survived most winters until last winter.
Until last winter. Yeah, rosemary smells good.
Oh, I love it.
We have a mint, right? And we have to be
we have a couple
very
of mints.
careful with the mint, right?
Yes, because mint tends to be invasive. It has wonderful stolons that go halfway across your yard if you let them. It's a good idea to either plant this in a pot so that it, you know, and you will find the stolons coming out the drainage holes. You can do that, or this is something that they do at the Botanic Garden. This is just something that a shrub came in, and I cut out the bottom, and you sink it into the ground. Realistically, you dig a hole and you put this in the ground, and then you put the soil back in. But this keeps the stolons from going all over the garden. That's not to say you won't find a stray or two,
Sure.
but it makes it a little easier to keep track of. Our younger son, visiting from college one time, looked at the garden and he said, "Well, I see you have your annual explosion of mint." So that was before I started containing it. Yeah.
All right, then, Mr. Jack, that was neat. We're gonna go and plant the rest of these herbs. Yeah.
All right.
And we'll see how it goes for us, all right?
Yes.
All right, so let's get to it, right?
Okay.
Hi, Mr. John. So it looks like we have everything planted here except for our mint and peppermint. We'll do that next week.
All right.
Okay? But I have to ask you a question.
Yes.
What about watering our herb garden, especially when it comes to summer?
You don't want to drown the plants, but they will need water.
They will need water,
Sure.
right? Yeah. It looks like we have pretty good drainage, so
Yes, absolutely.
it might work out for us pretty good. All right. So what we do now is we just fill in big gaps with our marigolds.
Yes.
And that'll be it. So thank you, Mr. John.
And
We appreciate
enjoy and walk through here.
you. We'll enjoy it and we'll do it.
Rub a leaf and smell it and think, oh, this is good.
Oh, this is good. All right. As I think about that food, right?
Yes.
All right. Thank you much, Mr. John. We appreciate it.
Thank
All
you.
right.
This is a problem I tend to get in the spring, where my hose connects to my sprayer. It leaks. So let's go ahead and turn the water off and kind of take a look at it and figure out why it did that. Inside of hose connections, there is a small washer, or at least there was when it came from the factory. It sits right in here, except you can see in this one that the washer's gone. So it probably fell out when I was rolling up the hose or when I was storing the sprayer for the winter. Luckily, you can go to big box store, hardware store, and you can buy a small washer that replaces the washer that was in here originally that stops the leaks. And it has small little nubs on the side here in several places, so it kind of grabs the thread, hopefully keeps it from falling out again. So I'm going to go ahead and put this and push it into place right here. So seat it to the bottom and screw my sprayer back on again. And let's go ahead and turn on the water. There, no leaks. Now I have this nice tight hose that I can use. So if you ever have a leak in your hose, check and see if that washer's there. It could be that it is old and dried out and it just needs to be replaced.
All right, Mr. John, here's our Q&A segment. You ready?
Sure.
These are great questions. Here's our first viewer email. What herbs grow well indoors? And this is Ann from Cordova, Tennessee. So, Mr. John, what do you think about that?
Herbs like light, they like sun, and so a house is already a little bit of a challenge. But I would think that annuals would grow better, things that aren't going to form a big root ball, something, you know, parsley, cilantro, any of the basils. I think those would be good candidates.
Okay, and we, of course, have to watch the watering on that house.
Oh,
They
yes.
need to be watered.
Yeah, you don't want them to have wet feet.
If you put them in a windowsill, which direction? You know, which window?
You know, they don't want to bake either. You know,
Right.
that's, I don't know. I've never felt very successful with houseplants.
Right. All right, but yeah, those are some good examples. Okay, and yeah, just don't water them too much. Make sure they get sufficient sunlight. We think those will be fine. Right? Annuals. You said annuals. All right. Hope that helps you out, Ms. Ann. All right, here's our next viewer email. I like this question. As I have a love for pollinators, I was considering some Joe Pye in my backyard, but it can get very dry quickly. Would I need a fire hydrant to keep them happy? And this is Bill from Southport, North Carolina. So a fire hydrant. The thing about Joe Pye is this, right? Loves moist conditions. Because when you see it out in nature, guess where it grows? Near streams, ditches. Tells me, yeah, you better have sufficient soil moisture. Of course, it likes conditions, full sun, part shade. So it can actually withstand periods of drought, but you're gonna need sufficient soil moisture. So, Mr. Bill, that fire hydrant might be a good idea. It may be a good idea, so you definitely wanna keep it watered. Beautiful plant does attract a lot of pollinators and butterflies. It definitely does that. You know, give it a little room, it'll take off, but it has to have sufficient soil moisture. All right, so water well, Mr. Bill. Thank you for that question. All right, here's our next viewer email. Oh, it's a common question here, right? Many azalea plants were damaged this winter.
Oh, yeah.
Is there anything I can do to restore them, or do they need to be replaced? And this is Ruth. So you have any thoughts about that, John?
Well, I'm looking at the azaleas in my own yard and thinking, I'm going to wait about a month and then cut them back and hope that that encourages them.
I would agree with that. So, Miss Ruth,
Good.
patience. Patience.
Oh,
right?
no, I'm not good at that.
We have to be patient, though.
yeah.
You know, with warmer weather, the soil is going to warm up, right? And the roots are going to be taking up a lot of moisture, a lot of nutrients. You might get that, you know, that foliage that we're looking for, those buds that we're looking for. But let's wait.
Yes.
Let's wait. So I'm telling people they can wait till at least, you know, first couple of weeks in May, you know, mid-May or something like that. We should know by then whether the plant material is going to make it or not. Yeah. And then if we do see it coming back from the roots, then you can prune back till you see green tissue, right? And I think you should be fine. But patience, it's real patience, and I think you'll be fine. All right, here's our next viewer email. What can I use to treat insect pests on herb plants? And this is Gwen from Memphis, Tennessee. So you have any thoughts about that, treating insect pests? And of course, it'd be good to know, what pests we're talking about.
Right, what pests are we talking about?
Yeah.
But I rarely see insect pests on herb plants.
Right.
They're not foolproof plants.
Sure.
But I don't see so much, so I can't can't really speak to it.
Sure. There's probably the occasional aphid, mealybug or something like that. But I always encourage people, whether it's herbs or any other kind of ornamental plants for the most part, low impact pesticides. So I'm big on using insecticidal soaps and oils. Whether it's horticultural oil or neem oil, just read and follow the label on that because they're safe, on the plant and for the pollinators, they're safe.
But when you're talking about, whether you're talking about an indoor or an outdoor plant, you're going to be eating those herbs, presumably.
Right.
And so you need to be extra careful about what you put on them.
Right, yeah, especially for the herbs, right? Anything that you're going to be eating, you definitely want to be extra careful. Read and follow the label, right? Read and follow the label. But if those plants are healthy, they're strong, they can withstand a little damage.
Oh, yeah.
A little damage, right? But if you have to use an insecticide, low impact. So again, your soaps and your oils, read and follow the label. And you should be fine, Miss Gwen. Thank you for that question. All right, Mr. John, thank you much. Thank you much.
Thank you.
All right. Remember, we love to hear from you. Send us an email or letter. The email address is familyplot@wkno.org, and the mailing address is Family Plot, 7151 Cherry Farms Road, Cordova, Tennessee 38016. Or you can go online to familyplotgarden.com. That's all we have time for today. Thanks for watching. If you want to learn more about herbs, head on over to familyplotgarden.com. We have information there about this and everything else we talked about today. Be sure to join us next week for the Family Plot, Gardening in the Mid-South. Be safe.